Hi, I'm Jimmy Mistry, founder of Della Group. I'm super happy to speak with PEAKLIFE.
He's carved a virtual empire in the domain of luxury and lifestyle. Meet Jimmy Mistry, chairman, the Della Group, who is a force to reckon with. He is a first generation entrepreneur who started out at the age of 19 with only 2 employees and rupees 20,000 in his pocket. Cut to 2024, Jimmy Mistry is an absolute trailblazing entrepreneur in more fields than one, running successful businesses across board in the daunting space of luxury and lifestyle. We are deeply honored and very lucky to have with us Jimmy Mistry here today. Welcome to the PEAKLIFE platform.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. So how has the journey been, Jimmy?
Well, the journey has been fantastic. Like all journeys, there have been highs and lows. There have been peaks. There have been moments of lull. However, those have been very, very few. We've constantly been innovating ourselves and reinventing ourselves each day of our lives. I personally believe in learning, unlearning, and relearning constantly. I'm a self-learner, and hence there has been very few moments of lull. But it's been a difficult journey, like it is for all first-generation entrepreneurs. It's not an easy journey, and even today, the road ahead is not easy. Because you're trying to diversify and grow into different things at the same time, there's a constant struggle what to say no to. There is a constant struggle because you're into new things and developing new things. The struggle doesn't seem to end or cease. I guess the highs are followed by the lows, and the lows you again work your way through back to the high. So it's been a long journey. Last couple of years it's been difficult, and I think we've been having our own set of challenges in the last couple of years. However, it's fun, all in all.
So a closed mind is a luxury you cannot afford.
A closed mind is a luxury you cannot afford, simply because that's the only thing that's going to be a differentiating factor between you being ahead of the curve or you becoming passe. The minute you have a closed mind, you become passe. The minute you're struggling, you're ahead of the curve. Even failures, each failure is teaching you lessons. As far as you don't repeat the same mistakes again, every failure. I mean, what is a successful person? Successful person is just somebody who's had more amount of failures than normal people do. I mean, that's my definition of success. So there's no differentiating factor between who's successful, who's not. It's just the experience of failures makes you who you are, and that's what people term as success. There's nothing like success. It's just more and more experience of failure is in my humble opinion a definition of success.
Well, you're exceedingly humble, if I may say so. Are you where you thought you'd be 10 years ago?
No, I thought the journey would be far faster and a little more easier than it is right now. So definitely I'm not in a position where I thought I would be. There have been a couple of challenges I've been working on, and they've been long drawn out. The launch of Della luxury products has been delayed. Product development has taken more longer time. Finances have been a challenge. Opportunities of DLC coming in between the launch of DLP, which is Della luxury products. DLC is a new business I'd not imagined that we'll ended up starting between COVID, has kind of derailed a lot of things across. We set up more resort rooms, has also been a challenge. Now we completed in December more than 300 keys, and January onwards we've been working at setting up parallel townships. So it's not a very comfortable stage, but once perhaps Della luxury products is launched, the products division, the projects division, the collaborative projects go on stream. So 24 is very, very critical to us. And perhaps by the end of 24, once these things are achieved, the journey would be slightly more easy, slightly more gratifying, because things will be behind me. So that's where we are.
So DLC, the Della Leaders Club, of course, has been quite a game changer.
DLC has been a game changer because emotionally, and my DNA is to reach out to people and help people. DLC is a global community of entrepreneurs that we put together. it intellectually stimulates me because these entrepreneurs are the ones that I would have expected never to reach out to, connect with, collaborate with, speak to. DLC allows me to do it because as a designer, as a hotelier, as an adventurer, there was nothing I could go to an unknown entrepreneur and speak about. Let's say somebody's in oil and gas, or let's say somebody's in AI, let's say somebody's an artist, somebody's a chef, somebody's a very successful billionaire, somebody's a startup unicorn. I could have never met these amazing people hadn't it been for DLC. I'm a college dropout. I've never completed university, and having to speak to deans of ex-dean of Cornell, or current dean of Oxford, or current dean of Thunderbird University, is something that was way that I'd not bargained for, right? And DLC has allowed me to do all of these and more. Some of the top people in the world. Barack Obama's chief strategic advisory team member Barry Johnson, who's been in the White House, speaking to Barry multiple times. Ex-CFO and ex-CEO of Warren Buffett, Steve Rogers, who was handling the real estate division worth $70 billion. So such people would have never come into my life hadn't it been for DLC. And a while back you said we've achieved a lot. I don't think, because when you meet people like these, you realize you're a very small fry, and you're much smaller than you ever imagined yourself to be. So when you're talking to Soumitra Datta, and Soumitra happens to mention that yes, he's a co-founder of Igacia, and when you look up Igacia, there are 2 Nobel laureates sitting on his board. How does one react? You feel small, smaller than an ant, and smaller than a fly. So if any airs have gone into your head, you kind of wings get cropped, your legs get cropped, your arms get cropped. You feel you're just a tiny speckle and nothing more than that within the corporate world, because people. So Soumitra, jokingly whilst talking, just mentioned about he being on the board of World Economic Forum, not a speaker, on the board of World Economic Forum. Come on, that's one of the most powerful Indians you have out there in the world, and he's so humble. So when you meet people, if at all you have any airs about yourself, they come crashing down and you get cut to pieces. I love that. I love each time an experience like that happens. So I was talking to this guy in Hyderabad and taking his interview, and I was talking to him and referring to him as the founder of a unicorn. He heard me twice, and the third time he says, I was wondering whether he's not a founder of a unicorn. What happened? He says, no, not one unicorn, one decacorn, one unicorn. And you kind of just look at him in amazement and say, one decacorn and one unicorn. So and you don't even know about him, right? So you're meeting these amazing people, and they're also incredible. So guy has been setting up smart city software for whole of Saudi, and he's in Hyderabad. You meet such amazing people who achieve such great things in life, and they're not necessarily the Googles of the world and the Facebooks of the world, but in their own rights, they're super achievers. We have a school teacher's son who's an IIT graduate, and they were the first runners-up for Startup of the Year last year. Browser Stack, Nakul Agarwal, a humble guy, great guy, and yet has created value worth about $5 billion organization, and yet he's so humble and grounded, right? So I think there's so much of learning, intellectual stimulation that happens within DLC. Just last week we did our first global summit, the DLC Hospitality Global Summit we completed on Saturday, and met such amazing chefs across the world. I purposefully wanted to bring all the chefs of Indian origin. So not just Michelin star chefs, but some who are twin Michelin stars, some who've been on Michelin bib for 21 years in a row. Come on, man, that's a legendary figure. 21 years staying at the top of your game is no small meager feat. And we had Chef Saras Todiwala in London, who's been 21 years a recipient of Michelin bib, non-stop. I mean, you meet people like that, you feel grounded, you feel very small, you feel they're super achievers, and they're yet so humble.
It's overwhelming. I think it was a fantastic coup that you managed to achieve, getting over 18 Michelin-starred chefs from all across the globe, and the learnings were tremendous. Absolutely, a seamlessly organized affair. And to think of it, the DLC was a pandemic baby.
DLC is a pandemic baby, yes, and I feel I'm destined to achieve such things. So ideas and visions come to me, and I implement it. I keep telling myself, and I keep telling my team around, that if God is giving the opportunity, we better perform, because if I don't perform, he has a long queue of people who are willing to take over my place. Right?
So when do the best ideas come to Jimmy Mistry?
Night 3 o'clock.
You're a night bird for
Yeah,
sure.
I am. It makes everybody else's life miserable around me. I'm sure my team, who are early morning risers, some of them must be feeling miserable working with me. I'm sure a couple of people who pull in long hours, I feel very sad for them, and I feel guilty for them, who travel from Mira Road and come in, who travel from Vasai, Ambernath, come in. So after I finish my day at office, they travel and go back home. Next day morning, again they travel and come back. It's not that I don't realize all these things, and it's not that I've not done these things myself. I used to go on a scooter from Dadar to Borivali doing projects, and from Borivali to Kolaba Causeway for next client, and pick up all the raw materials on the scooter in between. I still remember at Kemp's Corner, I had bought in a huge tar block for doing some waterproofing and repair work at Pedder Road building. I was on the scooter alone, and the tar block had fallen down at Kemp's Corner. I had to hold the scooter, get off, lift up the tar block like a laborer, put it back on the scooter, and somehow manage to pull my way through. So people when they deal with me, they sometimes they do not know my background, and hence they think I'm insensitive towards their travel, late nights, morning. It's not the case. I'm very sensitive towards it, but there is a job to be done, and as a leader you need to take hardcore decisions. There's a job to be done. There's a job to be done. There's a war going on. You need to send in your soldiers in the front. You need to send the soldiers in the front. There is no choice. So the soldiers think that you are insensitive. I think that's a folly. They need to come to terms with. But I feel of myself as somebody who's out there. There's a war going on. I need to get the job done. I need to get the job done and move back. Once we are back in the barracks, then we can be sensitive. We can think who's injured, who's not, who's slogged, who's bleeding, who's not. Whilst you're on the war field, you don't think of anything. There's one point: go kill the opponent and come back. That's it. There's this one agenda out there: get the war, get to the top of it, minimum casualties, maximum damage. So I kind of align my ways of management to the armed forces, and I work very closely with them because one of my businesses allows me to do it. So we have a counterterrorism training academy for civilians, and I've worked with special forces who are my employees, and we've designed and devised programs. So I kind of strategically think of every business decision, and it's similar to you in a war zone. As a leader, your job is to make sure that you go ahead, cause maximum impact out there, come back. Once you're back, then you got all the chance to reflect and say who contributed, who didn't, and what happened, who's bleeding, who's not, how can you kind of take care of them, and are their families taken care of. All that is once you're back. When you're out in the front, you're a devil, you're out to kill, you're out to make sure you survive, you're out to make sure your people survive, come back.
So what is the biggest lesson in leadership that you can share with us?
Like I said, leadership is not a popularity sport, and it's a contact sport. Right. So two things are very critical. You're not here to be Mr. Popular. You're here to get a job done. Does that mean that you're insensitive and you're not having empathy? I don't think a leader can survive without oodles and oodles of empathy. You need oodles of empathy, but at the same time, you need to get your job done. So it's a tough call, and it's a contact sport. A leader has to be right in the front. You cannot be sitting in your so-called ivory towers and expecting people to relate to you and get the work done. You need to be there where ground zero is, where the action is. It's a contact sport. So if there is a problem in construction site, you need to be there at the site. If you're strategizing with your workers, you need to be with the workers. If you're doing product development, you meet with the team who's doing development. You need to be there. You need to be there everywhere. And delegation doesn't work beyond a point when you're trying to disrupt and do new things. That's again a myth. If you think that you can innovate by delegating, I don't think Elon Musk would have been Elon Musk had he not been on the shop floor 18 hours a day, which he does even now. And what a swell job he does at it. So leadership is a contact sport, and leadership is not a popularity game. So n number of books I've read where people have been abusing Elon and don't think very good of him. None of that matters, because he's not here to kind of get their approval or not get their approval. He's here to get a job done. He's here to disrupt the world and impact humanity, and in doing so, if there are casualties, so be it. Right? I believe and I can relate to that. I am by nature a very empathetic person, but when I'm working and out there, I'm a devil. Because I'm possessed with that one thing that needs to be achieved in that moment of time. So whilst I was doing the hospitality summit, for me nothing mattered. Who slept, who's not well, who's got a problem at home. The summit had to be put up, the summit had to be done, and a damn good job had to be done. Everybody had to go back smiling, happy, carrying the message correct. The messaging had to be absolutely perfect, right? All the guests had to experience what we knew we've created and go back with that theme. So for me, when I'm doing the job, I'm possessed. I'm only doing that. I'm kind of not going to get involved with anything, any other issues anybody else has. So most people do not relate because at that point in time, you appear like a devil to them because you're trying to get a job done. But then that's their way of looking at it. And I'm like I said, I'm not in the popularity game. I'm not interested.
But you're sharing the credit with your human capital, which is your team. I think you have a fantastic team.
You can't do it without the team. I mean, it's a team that does everything. That night we had, I think, about 26 specialty dishes served to the guests, and the guests were none other than people who are going to analyze you, criticize you, evaluate you. My chef did a fantastic job. So all the onus was on him. I was holding the event fort. People had slogged their butt out in graphics couple of nights before. Through the nights, we ourselves worked till 6:30 in the morning, and on that very night, and came back home exhausted and started the day again. I guess you can't do anything without a team. At the end of the day, the team has to hold the fort. They are the ones, they are the soldiers. They are the ones who are bleeding for you, right? I, as a leader, am aware about it, and for those who know me, know that yes, I am very, very aware about it. But in the spur of the moment, when something has to be done, has to be done.
So, what's your biggest challenge?
Well, like all entrepreneurs, the three things are biggest challenge is men, money, and time. So you are always running short of people. No matter we've crossed 2,500 employees in our organization, and forever we are still crying for people. Forever we are still crying for good designers to be with us. Forever we are still crying to have good marketing people. Forever we are still trying to have good HR people. Not that we don't have them, we have them, but we need more of them. So that's your challenge. Developing a second in line is a challenge. Second in line exists. You need to kind of align yourself and make sure you give them enough elbow room to grow and prosper, though they are in your shadow. So they need to be in that leadership positioning, and they do. You develop across businesses. So all the time making sure that there is a second in line. But I think more than second in line, that's a little more easier. The bigger job is to develop a management team, and which is where it's challenging. Sometimes you're successful at doing it and it's not a constant because it's not a one-time setup and move out. You have a team, the motivations are great, everything is working fine. Suddenly you turn your face around and you come back, and now the motivations are rock bottom, two people have left, remaining are moving around like a headless chicken, and the tempo and the mojo is gone. You need to rejuvenate all over again. So you need to again put in, rejuvenate all over again. That is where you feel that you need a management team that's in place, and they're going to be rock solid there, consistently there. That's what is important. And they're not going to dilute on the values and the ethos that you build the organization on. They're going to work towards furthering the cause. So they're as charged up as you are with the vision. Aligning everybody's vision is the leader's full-time job, and I think that's where energies go. You participate, you be on ground zero, align everybody's vision, and then again the momentum gains.
You speak of men and money. I can see a huge number of women in your workforce. Amazingly right. So. Is that a conscious decision?
No, it's not a conscious decision, but personally, working style, I'm more comfortable. Sinaya and Pearl have been the longest in my life to work around. They are two of my group directors, and we build everything together. Whole of Della resorts, whatever you see today has been built between me, Sinaya, Pearl, and then my kids joined in. So Pearl, Natalia and Farhan have joined in. There is Rahman Irani on one side, there's Nitin Mehta on the other side, my accounts team of Veer Sen. I mean, all these people have been permanent fixtures in my life. Jamil Chauhan from day one of Della Resorts, the entire building, construction, everything has been done with him. Irfan Zafar right from my Nagpur factory days, Percy in the factory. So this is, I've enough and more who've been with me for 20 years. So we are a strong organization that has a lineage. We have quite a few people who completed 10 years and 20 years and 15 years with me. And then there are people who can't put on 5 days with me. So we have both the extremes, right? Free floaters cannot, and bogies cannot. I have football bogies at the speed of light. The minute I spot a bogie, my job is to derail it, throw it off my rail track, shorten my train, and get going. So that's a constant endeavor. It's difficult to work with people who have come ground up like me, because then bullshitters find it very difficult to work. Free floaters find it very difficult to work, and that's where I come down very heavy and nasty on them. I'm not a bad human, but like I said, my job as a leader is to keep my train sharp, agile, fast. And any bogies that are going to slow me down, I don't want them around. People who are bogies converting to engines, always supporting them. Incompetency will be tolerated, dishonesty will not be. So people are less capable, I'm fine with them. They have a huge EQ, I love them. So for me, EQ is more important than IQ. Like I said, less competency, chalenga. Known hai na, consistent hai na, chalenga. 50% hai na, chalenga. Kamchor hai nahi chalega. So that's my definition. I mean, I spot a kamchor and I come down very, very heavily. I just hate people taking me for granted or the organization for granted. That's something that I don't tolerate. Perhaps I need to calm down and tolerate. Organizations like Tata's have done a swell job. I still remember my late friend Dr. M.D. Malia, the erstwhile chairman of Bank of Baroda, and then he joined Tata Capital. He was on the board. He was on the board of several organizations. So MD was in Lonavala, and I came very ruffled because a competitor across had just kind of hired my guy from the real estate division and just plonked him there. So I said, how can they do that? And I'll make sure this guy doesn't stay in Lonavala for a day. And that's very easy for us to do, because we got 1,750 employees, of which 1,100 are locals in Lonavala. I said, how can somebody just poach and that guy work right across the door? He says, calm down, you're not going to do anything. He says, that's how our corporate cultures are to be built. It's his destiny, it's their luck, let him do what he wishes to. You're too big to even get involved into something like that. Don't ignore it. I've ignored it until to date. That man still calls me and wishes me on every Diwali, every New Year, every good festival. And each time he calls me, only MD Malia comes in front of me, because that's the kind of vibe he's imbibed. Never turn around and look at anybody. Whoever has to do, they'll do. That's their destiny, that's their lookout. They will realize in due course of time what mistakes they've done. You are not here to teach them a lesson. You are not here to settle scores. So that's the lesson that I've learned. We're not here to settle scores with anybody. We are here to do a job. And in doing so, impact society, impact people, impact communities around, help local communities to grow, help the environment. Your scores to be settled are there. If somebody is impacting the environment, you stop it. Your organization is doing something that you can do in a better way, do it. Your energies are meant as a leader to do all those things. Your energies are not meant to do anything that's destructive, even remotely. Because that's not the kind of leader you're building yourself or your teams to.
Right. So you have been impacting local communities on a huge scale. I think there was
I wish I can do it 1,000 times more. We've got 1,100 local employees. I'm very, very proud and happy of that. None of them are on contract, all are on our payroll. We've impacted those families in the best possible way. And we'll make sure that with further townships coming, they're the first ones to be able to assume the managerial positions and grow. We've adopted a local school with Adivasi children. It started with about 60 students when I took the ZP school under our wings. Today we have 260 children. Again, a lot of people have contributed there. I am only the torchbearer. A lot of people have actually worked to nurture the school. We had Mrs. Presswala, who was the principal of New Activity, vice principal. She's the one who moved there. She's the one who has actually been literally like a mentor to the school. And so many of my local kids have helped out to kind of support that whole activity. Ganesh Geet takes the children for training them for mountaineering activities and makes them compete in state level competitions. So there is a lot of people who do things. Intention and inclination comes from me. But down the line, a lot of people, today we are proud that we've got 260 students there. We've impacted lives. Students speak in English. Students have been really taken care of. The school was only till 7th. The local girls would have dropped out of education if we had not continued to 8th, 9th, 10th. We are the only ZP school, thanks to our current Chief Minister's blessings, which has been given permission till 12th. 3 years we ran the school illegally, sending children across to nearby school Though we would tutor them through the year, for examination they would go to a nearby village which was about an hour away. They would go to Kamshit to give their 10th board. We continued the school. We made sure none of the girls drop out. We make sure none of the parents pick up their children and make them into domestic servants elsewhere. Now since they can speak English, they are sought after. But we make sure that we are there. We make sure the students are taught swimming. So we get them to a private villa because we can't take them to the resort pool. Take them to the private villa swimming pool. We teach them swimming there. So we kind of, our students are taught everything that one would learn in an IB school. So there is no shortage of resources thanks to the adventure park being there. We try and teach them everything from archery to shooting. One of the students is learning shooting. One of the students does horse riding. So we kind of, I'm very proud and happy the way and manner in which we are able to kind of impact these lives. I wish we can emulate this and do it in many more places, because the gratification is immense. You're not looking for any awards and medals. You know you're impacting these lives. The gratification is immense when these students graduate, get jobs, and we help them to place jobs. They go to college. We kind of mentor them throughout. That's the kind of environment we want to create and impact lives.
You're a bulwark in the space of luxury and lifestyle. What does luxury mean to you, Jimmy?
Luxury means different things to different people. For me, anything that at different points and times in life, luxury means different things to different people. There was a time I was very fond of collecting pens, and the standing instruction at Mobla, any new model, limited edition has to be delivered. Not even to ask. That was then, right? And for the last, I think about 10 years, I haven't bought a single pen or a watch. There was a standing instruction to deliver anything that I liked. So most brands, they pamper customers and they look for bakras like us. So there was a standing instruction to deliver a new Hayabusa motorbike every year. The new model gets launched, they'll pick up the old one and deliver the new one. It went on for about 4 or 5 years. Again, that was more than I'm talking about a story more than 12 years back. The first Hummer 6.2 to be delivered in India, the first S500L customized in Germany and delivered. Today, any of these things matter to me? Nothing. I see a good pen, I love it. I see a good watch on somebody else's hand, I'm as happy as it would have been on my hand, but I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm okay. So I'm saying luxury means different things to different people. I look at a good design. The other day I saw a chef wearing Bell and Ross and I said, wow, do I want to buy it? I don't think so. I'm very contented. I don't need it. I mean, for me, luxuries, do I need it? And if I don't need it, I have better utilization of that money, be it a lakh of rupees or be it a crore of rupees or be it whatever amount. I don't need it. Personally, I don't need it. So I used to only drink mineral water for years and years. I think 15, 20 years of my life, I've only had mineral water. And then there was a financial stress in between. And I decided, why am I wasting this, whatever, 10, 15, 20,000 bucks a month? I don't need it. So I moved to filtered water. I'm very happy. So now in my restaurant also, if the guy opens up a bottle of water, I can't afford it. Right? And the guy is looking at me. I'm very happy with my AquaGuard water. So different points in time, different things mean luxury to you. So when I started at that stage in my career, a bottle of mineral water is like a status symbol. I only drink mineral water. Today I only drink tap water, filtered. I'm okay with it. Do I feel ashamed? No, I'm very proud of it. I am saving plastic, I'm conserving, I'm not causing any kind of environmental pollution. Because the goddamn cost of that water bottle, 90% is the cost of the plastic bottle and the label. If the water is not costing anything. So for me, conservation means starting from myself, tending the circle. I don't believe in kind of starting with others, but I will have my luxury. So these are some of the things that I believe. Each time I'm very conscious of if water is being wasted. Even if I'm brushing and the water tap is on, I would be very concerned. If I see a faucet leaking, I would be very concerned. It pricks me, whether it's mine, outside, anywhere. So these are some of the things you imbibe. So different points in time, different things mean luxury to you. But being in the business of luxury, my job is to deliver uber luxury to people. Surprise them where there is an element of awe, surprise when they look at and use the products that you've done for them. Right? They yet not know what they want, and it's always my job to innovate what is that yet not know. What is that factor? They've not asked for a certain feature in an executive desk and I want to give them those features. Why can't boardrooms be lifted up? Why can't you stand and work on a boardroom? We are the first company in the world to manufacture boardroom tables that lift up and down. And then how can we incorporate luxury into them? How can we give mood lighting? Forget the room. How can we mood light the table? Nobody's asked for it. Give it to them, they deserve it.
But what is that one moment of uber luxury, if you were to pick, that you have experienced? Jimmy Mistry is all about creating ace experiences. So, what is that one moment of uber luxury that you yourself have experienced across all your properties?
So each time we'll end up designing products and redefining them. That's the moment of luxury. So we've designed the new desk. Once I start using it, for me, that's uber luxury. Right, because we pushed the envelope beyond. We pushed the envelope beyond a point and incorporated the finest of everything that we can. So that's uber luxury. Recent trip to Koshville, I saw a hoarding of a Richard Mille watch, and the watch stuck. I took a picture. I'm designing a whole chairman's cabin inspired by the Richard Mille watch. Right. So for me, once the cabin is ready, that's luxury. Right, that's personal luxury. I mean, I'm excited for the world to see, and I'm excited for the designers of Richard Mille to see what has been inspired by them and created by us. We're not duplicated something. We're not here to put somebody's fake logo. That's China shit. We are here to kind of take the design to a different level. So an Italian company would turn around and say, oh, so they've actually done a Bottega Veneta cabin. Wow. We're not taking away, they're not in that business, we're not in that business, we're not getting into there, we're not creating a Bottega Veneta look-alike bag. That's not the business. We're creating a cabin. We're looking at a Goya and creating a Goya panel on the wall. I mean, we love it. We're creating a Goya panel and the whole range is inspired by Goya. So that's a way to respect a brand and take it notches higher and incorporate technology insights. When they look at it, they look up to you in awe and admiration what you created for them. Right, with their inspiration. So these are moments of luxury that I feel is to be personified.
So, in the field of luxury and real estate, what is it that you foresee probably as an emerging trend?
Uber luxury residential accommodations, because now that people are used to a certain level of luxury being provided as common amenities, it's no longer a freaking swimming pool and a gym and some shit lobby. Now it's proper luxury. You're living in a 5-star. Your apartment is a part of the 5-star. When you experience a Oberoi 360, you experience a Lodha World 1, you experience an Omkar 71, 73, whatever. You experience these buildings. Rest of the country is going to start emulating them. Because now you have your laundry, bakery, restaurant, bar, patisserie, mixologist, all in your building. Once people start experiencing them, then they'll leave their villas and bungalows and move out to these common places which we call as uber luxury towers. And that's where the towers will be serviced by a Four Seasons, by a Della hopefully in future. So we are very aspirational to create, I'm itching to create my Della residences somewhere across India. I'm waiting for a right developer to come and say, partner us, and I want to create the experience of Della residences. What one would experience as a resort guest in Della, I want to create the experience in a residential vertical tower building, be it in India, be it abroad, wherever I can. But that's everything I would dream of. I want a masseur 24 hours. I want a gym 24 hours. My swimming pool has to be 24 hours. There's always somebody in the gym to give me personal training. I don't need an appointment. That's luxury, right? Whatever time, day, night, I want to do yoga, I can do. So that's luxury. You have a full-time chef on duty. It's 24 hours. Everything is 24 hours. That's luxury. And when people come out of their multi-million-dollar villas in farms in Delhi and come into a vertical tower where all of this is available, this they can't manage in their own residences, no matter how many acres and acres they have. No matter how many hundreds of crores they spend in those horizontal houses, they can't get the amenities and the quality of the amenity. It's not about the money. You should be able to, you can call food from Taj once. Having a Taj chef work for you, no matter what you pay, he won't leave his career and work for you. But in a vertical tower, if operations are run by Taj, if operations are run by Ritz-Carlton, operations are run by Della, operations are run by Four Seasons, you'll have a Four Seasons chef.
It's a crowded space with so many players in the market.
So that's the change that's going to happen now across the country. It started in Bombay, it started in Delhi with Camellias, but it's now going to be expanding exponentially. And India is known to leapfrog, right? Anything that happens in India, India leapfrogs. We are behind in telecom 25 years from the rest of the world, or 30 years. We leapfrogged and we are in cutting edge. Similar way in technology, we are cutting edge. Similar way in BFSI compliance, we are cutting edge. So every which way, these are the changes that will happen. And this, along with luxury overdrive with all the companies being present in the country, and now everybody's focus has moved in luxury from China and Russia to India. So India is the next hot favorite for them to offload their produce to, and their markets are seen growing in India, and they'll continue to grow for the next 15 to 20 years when we are getting into a $7 trillion economy, or we're getting into a $35 trillion economy, wherever we are headed, right? Nobody can deny that we are headed there, and far faster than we ever imagined.
So you've picked up the pulse of the evolving aspirational lifestyle very well with your upcoming townships,
Yeah.
and with vineyards and
We hope
the
so.
motorscape township.
Yeah, so this kind of townships are not there anywhere in the world. So just as our kind of adventure park is not there anywhere in the world, fragments of it are there. So we want to be India's first only theme-based hospitality real estate developer. We're theme-based. We're very clear. We don't have to do a township that doesn't have a theme. So whether it's fashion, art, architecture, whether it's wines, and on the other side, whether it's a race course that we do a private one, or on the other side, if we do a motorscape township which doesn't exist, there is no motorscape township existing in the world apart from we have one which is very elementary, but here we are talking of five star resorts, theme-based banquets, wedding venues, destinations, my segment, events, and then you go ahead and have 300 or 400 villa plots, and then you have an extreme adventure park inside, and then you have your theme around. And your theme is for social impact, and theme is never meant to be a business. So we are never going to be in the business of running races. That's not the business. Business is hospitality and real estate and adventure. We're going to remain stuck with it. Hence, we can afford to bring in a Porsche and a BMW to brand to come in and say, okay, everything is being created for you guys. Just run your school. So winery, everything is being created. Just run your restaurant. We will run the restaurant. Just put your chef, put your boards there. They'll be ready to do it, and they'll bring in a French patisserie and position there, because there's no commercial deal we are having with them. That's not the business. The business is not to earn rentals out of wineries or earn rentals out of BMWs and Porsches. You are already having your business of hospitality, you're having your business of villas, real estate. You don't need to make this also your business.
So logistics wise, you think the country is prepared for this?
Yeah, it's looking for it.
One of its kind A-level experiences.
Absolutely looking for it.
What is it that you want to do next? What makes you tick?
Yeah.
What are you looking at doing now?
Anything that causes an impact makes me tick. So for me, ability to be able to drive and cause impact. If I'm able to take our country and create a consumer-facing brand in luxury, in 77 years of India's freedom, India has not created one consumer-facing luxury brand. For me, that will be the biggest impact. Like I keep saying, ours is a herd mentality, and we leapfrog very fast. So if one brand does it, there'll be 500 brands behind me wanting to do it, and then Indians will be everywhere. That's what I want to do. Consumer-facing luxury globally. I want to be the first brand. Taj has done it to some extent. Oberoi's has done it. There are smaller examples of brands which have done it, but not exactly. Not really. You've not created a Google. You've not created a Facebook. You've not created a Louis Vuitton. You've not created anything like that. So we need brands that are consumer facing and in luxury. I want to kind of champion the cause of that. I want to champion the cause of creating more and more Indians known for hospitality across various jobs, not just inside the kitchen, but be it production, food production, being a chef, or be it restaurant owners, or be it in service, be it stewards. Why can't we have a whole genre? Why are only French and Italians preferred as ideal service staff, and then Filipinos? Why not Indians? Because we're not branded service Indian staff and put out there. We're not branded service engineering staff and put out there. So Indians are the finest engineers. Why can't we go ahead and put them in hospitality and brand them? Then the whole world is going to go looking for Indian engineers in hospitality. It's a question of taking a product and branding it, right? And of course, in doing so, you're also fine-tuning it, learning from mistakes. How do you position yourself? So my job is to kind of, within the world of realm of hospitality and within the realm of design, to try and do these two things, and therein cause the maximum amount of impact before my career ends.
I find that tough to believe before your career ends. You definitely don't seem like a person who wants to sit still.
Yeah, I'll be working to the last day of my life.
Yes, I can see that.
I'm clear on that, and I don't think I'm going to live very long, but so none of these, I don't have any of these aspirations whatsoever. Till the last day I'm living, I should be able to cause impact.
So Jimmy, over the next 2 years, what percent of the luxury pie in the country do you see the Della group holding over the next 2 to 5
Opportunity is
years?
a killer. Very difficult to do guesstimations, but we'll be the first to be in direct to consumer. We'll be the first to be in direct to contractor. These are some of the areas that we are pushing very hard. We'll be the first to be in collaborative design process and do projects in collaborative design. So there are some of these things that we are first. I mean, rest is destiny.
Any regrets?
None so far. None that I can really say that I should have not done or something like that. I've done it some other way. As on date, yeah, but I think I would have got a little more personal quality time or a little more less stress would have definitely been appreciated. At times the stress gets overbearing and it's a little too much. You feel frustrated with it because not just because of yourself, because everybody around you is suffering with you as well.
So how do you disengage from that?
Very difficult to disengage. So people who say that I have a work-life balance, no. If you're screwed up at work, you're screwed up at home. You're screwed up at home, you're screwed up at work. There's nothing. This is the honest answer. It's all bullshit to say that I have a work-life balance and I leave work at the office. We sleep with work, we get up with work. I think we managed to do, the other day I was joking around, Sanjeev Kapoor spoke to me that we managed to do more work in our sleep than people do actually in a month. Because we are constantly thinking and doing and delivering, and so there is constant thought process going on, and that's why you become a little dhuni. You need to be guided, not because you need people around, because you constantly occupied and then you're oblivious to the surroundings. You're in a state of trance. You don't know if it's hot, it's cold, you don't know what time it is. I don't know when this interview should have ended. I'm passionately talking about it. I've cut off. I need somebody to tell me stop. I need somebody to tell me time. I need somebody to tell me. So these are the side effects. Right? You're at an airport lounge and you're still thinking your flight is gone. You need somebody to constantly guide you. At least that's what happens with me. Simply because I'm lost.
So who's that person?
No, I have people around most times.
Okay.
I have people around and I have lots of people around most times. And there's a lot of demand on those people because I'm lost. I get lost very, very fast. If I'm designing something, I'm working on something, I'm talking to somebody, I'm giving it my 100%. So I don't read my WhatsApp the whole day. I'm horrible in communication. I've given up emails 5 years back. I don't touch emails. Never read an email on my mobile ever. Even though email is programmed, I never, unless there's an emergency. So these are some of the things you give away to achieve what you're trying to achieve, because you don't want distractions around. You want to give it your 100%. I'm designing a cabin, I'm designing a bedroom, I'm doing something, I give it my 100%. Absolute 100%. Right? But in doing so, you're making other people's lives very miserable around you. I can't have somebody click a pen, I can't have somebody do noise around, I can't have somebody be on a mobile whilst I'm conducting a meeting. It's not that I think no end of myself, that's why. It's because I believe if I'm giving my 100%, you morons better give your 100%. You're not willing to, don't work with me. You want to have a meeting with me? Give me 100%. Don't be on your laptop, don't be on your mobile, don't be, because then that's a joke. It's not out of ego, it's not from a position of power or ego, it's purely from a position that we've gathered together to discuss something. Let's give our 100% to that thing. Whatever it is, be it in a meeting, we've gathered in a meeting to discuss something, right? So we might as well give our 100% to that meeting. We are discussing a web design, we give our 100%. We cannot have a casual check your mobile, check your message, means you're not there. So it doesn't work with me. And I am very demanding in these areas and I am very vocal in these areas. I tell people they don't like it, and that's their problem, that's not mine.
And they have to deal.
But I will give my, if I'm going someplace, I was at the temple doing restoration, I'll give it my 100%. I mean, when I'm there, I will give my 100%. I will not feel hot, I will not feel cold, I will not feel thirsty, I will not feel anything. I'll just give my 100% there. Right? You can't do things casually, by the way. That attitude, you can't land up achieving things. That attitude is something you're going to be mediocre. All your everything that you deliver in product or service will be very mediocre because you give mediocre efforts. You give extraordinary efforts, you achieve extraordinary results.
What have you learned?
There's learning every day of our lives.
That's a very politically correct
every day
answer.
Of our lives.
No. What is it that you've learned in life?
I guess I think in your ambition to achieve things, don't make everybody else's life so miserable around you. Be a little more sensitive to that. That's one learning that's daunting on me, and I'm guilty of that. But apart from that, I think very little. Like I said, I wouldn't have changed anything. I'm giving it my 100%. So I have no regrets right now. None. Zero.
So, if you were to share one pearl of wisdom for all our readers, viewers, and people who want to be in your shoes, obviously.
Whatever you do it 100%, like I said, and do it consistently. Don't overdo it and then drop and again and do it and not do it. Whatever you do it consistently, because only that consistency will get you to where you are. It's nothing else works. You need to consistently do things, and most people stop doing it. That's where the biggest problem with most people in the world is they just don't do it long enough. You need to consistently do it long enough, and it takes long duration of time. It's not easy, but if you hold on, people have an MVP and say, after this date, I'll shut down the business. And you shouldn't have got into the business to do it. You don't have the money, you don't have the resources, agreed. But why did you get into it? And the minute you have an exit opportunity or a plan B, means you're not committed to the cause. I'm not saying strategically you should not have plan A, plan B, all that is fine. But where is your commitment? The very fact you have an exit route means there's no commitment. You don't have an exit route, that shows your commitment. That shows you're convinced with what you're doing. After that, things don't work out, it's a failure, so be it. But you have done your level best to the last day. You need to do it. So consistency is one, which I feel is one takeaway, is consistency.
What's your state of mind right now?
Fragmented.
Why?
Too many things happening.
Like?
I'm behind schedule.
Thanks.
Such a pleasure. My meeting that was supposed to kickstart at 2 o'clock, people are already waiting, and I'm very mindful.
No, I understand that totally, and we are very grateful that you've taken out time at such a short notice from your busy schedule. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, and I'm sure all our readers and viewers have had brilliant takeaways from our in-depth conversation with Jimmy Mistry. Thank you, Jimmy.
Pleasure is mine, and I'm looking forward to reading a great article, and I hope it impacts people. If there are any questions the viewers and the readers have, they can plonk it on my social media, and I'm sure my team will bring it to me, and I'll be more than happy to reply.
Thank you.